9 o'clock. Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the SpeakerMC Show. Today, we have a fabulous show waiting for you because we have some guests who are all about relationships. Yes. SpeakerMC Show, if you don't know, I am your host, Marcia Chambers. And today, just to give you an idea of what the SpeakerMC Show is all about, it's 60 minutes of fun, engagement, and fun. Our mission is to expose different aspects of relationships with yourself, with your family, your coworkers, your children, your food, your money. Then we'll tap into some of the problems in these relationships and the effects that it's having on our daily existence. And our guests, two of them, will offer some tips, solutions, and information on how we can make our experience much better based on your area of business or your expertise. And with that said, I would like to go ahead and introduce our guests this evening, of which there are two. One of our guests is an abundance breakthrough coach. She is also the host of what's called Wealthy Wednesday. It's an ETV show, and she's also an author. Her name is Miss Luci McMonagle. Welcome, Luci.
Welcome, Luci.
I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, thank you for being on our show. And our other guest she is a love and relationship coach. She is a speaker, and she is the owner of Rebel of Love, which guides women to embrace their inner fire and passion to create amazing, fulfilling relationships. Please welcome Olga Yakovlev.
Hi.
Yakovlev.
Thank you, Marcia. Thank you. I'm so looking forward to connecting to everybody on this show and listening.
Excellent, excellent. And we have our guest visitor, Mr. Barney Kramer. Barney is the leader in leadership training. Hi, Barney.
Hi, Marcia. Nice to see you. Hi, lady.
Hi.
Not sure how I got on the show about love and relationships.
Well, we're going to figure this out, Barney.
Cool. I'll listen. I love it.
Well, today's show is called Doctor Says. And the Doctor Says show is all about the correlation between our health and our wealth, and how eventually we can boost our self-esteem without pharmaceuticals so that we can lead better existences. So, as usual, my shows are inspired by some kind of experience I've had, and I shared this with the ladies before the show started. But the other day, I started back with my exercise routine. Yay me!
Woohoo!
And in coming back, cooling down and cooling off, just walking, coming back home, this lady just ran right smack into me. And I couldn't understand. As big as I am, can you not see me? Hello? And she said, oh, I'm sorry. Her whole ambiance, her whole well-being didn't seem so well. She was like spaced out. She seemed like some kind of a zombie of some sort. Someone's on the phone. I need to be muted. Yes. She seemed like some kind of a zombie of some sort. And I'm telling you, it brought to mind that people are walking around these days as zombies. They are not aware of their environment. They're not aware of their experiences. They're not aware how they affect other people. I mean, I could have been somebody who had been in a very bad mental state. And, we could have started an altercation over something so trivial, something so meaningless. So, ladies, I bring to your table health and wealth. There is that correlation. But most people in our society these days tend to think of wealth as riches and money. What's your spin on wealth? And I'll start with you, Olga. I'll just go that way.
Sure. So my personal opinion about wealth, I mean, I can get specific, as in there are about 8 forms of wealth that if you really look in yourself and for your life, that are important to people. And it's not all about money. It's usually something to do with the quality of your relationships and also how you feel and how you really respond to yourself. Meaning, you know, some people it's like, okay, I want to have a business that makes trillions of dollars. But some people, it's the wealth aspect of, I want to have a business that makes a difference and also allows me to have personal time. It's like almost more like a quantitative experience than a qualitative experience. And really, it's all personal. But you do have to know what makes you feel good and what you really desire in order to really kind of start focusing on that and create more of that in your life.
Okay, so that's your definition of wealth.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about you, Luci?
So my
Luci
definition,
with the eye.
my definition of wealth is the feeling of well-being from within going outward into your life. And when you are, a lot of individuals, they confuse money and relationships and partners as wealth, but really it's right here. It starts from the inside, because a lot of people are looking outside of them for a sense of well-being, for a sense of purpose, and for a sense of being so that they can be happy. So wealth is an internal feeling of being able to manifest what you desire, what you want, and to be able to really truly know yourself, who you are from the inside out.
Beautiful.
Fabulous.
That's beautiful.
I really like that. I really like that. And that speaks to what I think we dove in a little bit earlier than I anticipated, but that speaks to this gentleman called Mark Anielski. Mark Anielski broke up the word wealth. He said W-E-A-L is an old English word that means well-being, and the T-H means condition. So wealth is the condition of well-being. So basically just the same thing that you guys have just said. But our society does not see that as wealth. Our society akins wealth to riches. It akins wealth to money. It akins wealth to that state of capitalism. And I know I've traveled to countries where people, and just to back that up, society, the socioeconomic says that the poorer you are, the less healthy you are, whether it's a state of mind or physical condition. But I've been to countries where they don't even have clothes on, and they are the happiest ever. Happiest ever. So what do you call them? Are they wealthy in their frame of mind, or are they wealthy in our frame of mind? Olga.
Well, that's a good question. You got me questioning. You got me looking, like really like seeing how do I feel about it. Honestly, I don't know if I have the answer for that. I think it is the perception of the individual, the culture, how they define wealth, and it's really up to them to kind of anchor themselves in it. So if I go to Ethiopia, let's say, or another country, and I see the communities are bonding together and they're enjoying quality time, and if I ask them, what do you want in your life? And they tell me, no, I have everything right here.
Yes.
To me, by definition that I would apply to wealth, I would say yes. In their eyes, they're wealthy. So in my eyes, they're wealthy.
Okay.
And if that was a different context of what you're looking at, that might be a different answer I would give you.
Okay. All right. Well, that speaks to their well-being. That does speak to their well-being. And being that they are in that happy state, because according to their standards of wealth, they are the wealthiest that they can be. So in that state, what kind of effect do you think that we could apply? So say that woman, Luci, and this question is for you, that woman that bumped into me, if she would apply a state of being, a state of that connectedness to happiness, do you think that she would be so spaced out? She would be so far away? She would have even ran into me? I mean, nothing is an accident. Everything is for a purpose. I don't know what her purpose was for running into me, but, you know, it brought up this discussion. So how do you feel about that?
So for me, because I don't know all of the circumstances of where she's at and where she was going, and if anything happened just recently before, you know, she could have gotten an emergency phone call completely out of the blue, where she found out maybe her child was injured and she had to get to the car, the hospital, or wherever, and she was not focused on anything aside from the end goal. If that was the objective, then definitely many blessings and prayers will be sent to her and her family. If she was just caught up in the busyness of life and not paying attention and not being in her body and just running around, then the ability to have beingness I would offer how to focus in 30 seconds or less, how to become in your body so that you can truly feel yourself, feel your wellness.
Well, how do you do that?
So it's very easy. You take your pointer finger and your thumbs and you put it together. And then you take the tip of your tongue and then you put it on the roof of your mouth. And there's a little mound right behind your teeth on the top of your mouth. You put those together with the tip of your tongue and your fingers together. Now, if you're driving and you're on the call, please do not close your eyes. If you're in a
And take your hands up.
you don't have to have the hands up. I'm just showing you how to do it.
Okay.
You can put your hands down if you want, but keep your thumbs and your index fingers pointing, the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, and then close your eyes and then take a deep breath in 3 times. And then on the 3rd time, you breathe in focused, balanced, centered. And then you let go of your fingers and you let go of your tongue and you breathe out. And then if you need to, you can go focused, balanced, centered again and with 3 breaths and then let go. And then what that does is that brings you in alignment with your body-soul connection. It brings you to the point of power, which is here and now. And when you're in the point of power, when you're here right now, you're actually able to become more aware. And this is how you tap into your sense of well-being. This is how you tap into being able to know yourself. It starts tapping into your intuition. And it also taps into the point of power, which is where you manifest from.
I like that. In 30 seconds or less. I like.
Correct.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Barney, can you hear us?
Yes, that exercise almost put me to sleep.
Good thing you're not driving.
Yeah, no, I'm not driving.
What is your commentary, Barney, on the state of well-being and how it correlates, you know, the wealth and the health, the synergies between those two? What's your commentary on that?
My thoughts on that, really, having had a pretty lengthy life's worth of experience, what I found is that when I had all the things that were going to make me happy, and they were all wrapped around wealth, the right car, the right house, the bank account, all of that, I was absolutely miserable. And what I discovered in a fairly young age, that I was so wrapped up in myself that I didn't know what my purpose in life was, and I certainly didn't know how to find any kind of peace of mind and happiness. And it ended up in a disaster, and that was a good thing because I was fairly young at that time. So my whole perspective of what it means to be wealthy at my age, with probably less money than I've had for some time, and certainly a few cricks and crinks here and there, and you know, growing old is truly not for sissies. But I can absolutely tell you that I have more wealth in my life today than I've ever had. Certainly not when you measure it with a dollar bill, but that's my ability to fit into life, to know that my life is serving a purpose, and to know that that purpose in large part has to do with serving others. And so that I think what I have is a balance in life, and I know that we all have a role to play. And what happens with it, you begin to attract a lot of people. I mean, I have more friends in many ways in my life today than I've ever had in all walks of life, and that's a direct result of, you may not call it wealth based on the definition, but in my view, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, so you are also akin with those people who have barely anything and they are the happiest ever. Maybe their purpose in their life is to be of service and be happy in maybe a familial setting or maybe just a communal setting, community setting.
That might be taken a little too far. I've still got enough greed left in me. But I can tell you what,
St. Barney.
Yeah, I think it's a balance. It's not the number one motivator in my life. I believe that you do the right things in the right ways in life and have the right values and belief system, and then live those, and you'll find yourself wealthy regardless of what you have.
Yes, I think you're hitting a point. I think we're all hitting a point, because even Robert Kennedy, he said that genuine wealth is the things that make life worthwhile. The things that make life worthwhile could be that you know that there's a bigger picture here to the reason why you're here. You know that you being of service to someone else or making happiness in someone's life is that correlation to your wealth, that correlation to you being full of riches. Somebody once told me that if you have 4 good friends, and friends don't use the word lightly. So people who would do anything for you, people who like you even with your imperfections, people who would just say, hey, you know, Marcia, I just love her to death. Pain in my ass, but I just love her to death. If you have 4 people who are like that, that you can consider yourself one of the richest people in the world. So that's what someone said to me. And I don't take that very lightly, because even though you say that, yeah, we're of service to others, there are times when people can just say, hey, I'm not feeling you right now. But they're still having your back. They still are there for you, you know, and that's another form of wealth, in my opinion. But yes. Let's talk now about, in case you're just joining the show, this is the SpeakerMC Show, and today our topic is Dr. Says. Dr. Says, and we are investigating the relationship between health and wealth. So back to the zombies out there. There are so many people who are stressed out. There's so many people walking around, and every time you see them, they're in their cell phones. They go to lunch, they go to dinner, they are in the company of others, and they're so focused on that piece of mechanism and so unaware. Now, these kind of people, they walk around and they're so out of space or in space. I don't think that they realize the times that they're living in, how meaningful their life could be, how the time and space where they are now, that it is so abundant. But the minute that something happens, they run off. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, doctor, please give me this. Oh, you know, some kind of pharmaceutical. A lot of people seek that kind of remedy. What can you give as a tip, or what could you share with people who have no kind of capacity for, I don't even know how to phrase it, they don't have any kind of capacity for just being aware. Anybody want to tackle that?
Sure. Can I go?
Yes.
So as you were just really painting a picture of how people around us either function or how you relate to them, I at most, or not with most, that a lot of times in my life has been that person, disconnected and kind of overwhelmed. And knowing for me, I also spent about 10 years in Cayman Islands working on island-wide programs for holistic health and well-being. So it's very common to just kind of have very narrow vision about what you have to do each day and every stressor that comes into your life, and not have the time and the space to process things, and not have the tools of connecting to yourself. Because the love and relationship coach, I really just talk about your relationship to yourself. And it's the mindfulness, and as we were discussing today, getting in your body and processing what's really happening over here that keeps you blocked and keeps you unaware of what's happening in your own life, and also by default people around you. And sometimes it could be, there's tons of tools for mind-body awareness. There's tons of tools of balancing the right side and the left side of the brain. One of the tools that I use for my clients, especially when they're inclined, is toning, sounds.
Tuning?
Toning. Toning.
Can you explain that?
Yeah. So basically, your sympathetic nerve, when you under stress or you thinking so much, becomes like a little mouse riding in that cage, just spitting, and it's not getting enough air, not enough oxygen, it's not getting enough time to process things. One of the things to calibrate instead of constantly thinking about it, talking about it, is using your vocal cords. Because then your body relaxes and your brain actually starts oxygenating a little differently. So toning could be as simple as me, let's say, being on the phone with somebody and singing love. So we'll click something, love, and somebody joins in and tones with me. And it's experience of getting into your body and also releasing sounds. Because a lot of our trauma, not that we get into trauma in here, but overwhelm is sort of like, disconnect and trauma for people because they don't know how to be with it, lives in our tissues, and it doesn't have words to be expressed. I can tell you my life story, but it's not necessarily going to shift how I feel. So I constantly bring people into feeling as well, and getting them access to actually feeling at peace. Because when you're at peace, you make decisions differently. You're more intuitive. You're more connected. You're more present, not only to yourself, but to other people. To me, if you're not present to other people, chances are you just have not given yourself time and space to be with yourself.
And what would you recommend for people who are not?
That's my little tip.
What would you recommend for people who are not in tune with themselves or don't even know how to be with themselves? You have some people who don't want to be alone and they don't want to be in tune with themselves. What would you speak to those people?
I think like when we're really breaking down to it, being in tune with yourself is a daily connection. So first you create some kind of a structure to it. So it could be like, okay, I don't know how to be with myself, but this is my promise to me. Every time I get up in the morning, let's say I'll set an alarm for 7 o'clock. 7 to 7:05, I'm just going to sit. And I'm going to look at let's say one spot of the wall. And all I'm going to do is close my eyes and I'm going to breathe once I connected myself to something. So it's just the experience of you trying something different, trying something new, and calming down your mind. I mean, we can get into meditation, we can get into other tools, but it's really just slowing down on a daily basis with a structured time that gives you access to actually not have to think, talk, or do. And that takes practice too.
Yes. Yes.
First step is actually, let's sit down. Let's put it in our timetable. And then we can figure out what we do with that 5 minutes to give us the most results and most connection. But it starts with, I'm committing to this, and I'm going to explore what this looks like, and then carry it out.
So let me ask you another question. Getting back to the toning. So the toning. I know that there are some yoga practices, and I don't know the differentiation between each, but there are some yoga practices where you do a lot of is that also part of the toning?
Yeah, it could be considered the same thing. It's just anything that's done with the vocal cords. Usually it's vowels or musical tones following the notes. You can add words to it. It's just experience, a vibrational experience, really what it is.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. All right.
And it's one of the easiest ways that I've discovered to really, like, in 2 seconds, switch overwhelmed to being like, okay, I can breathe now.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you stay with us to the end of our show. This is the Speaker MC Show. Our show topic tonight is Doctor Says, and we are discussing the correlation between health and wealth. And our guests today are Miss Luci McMonagle, who is an abundance breakthrough coach and the host of Wealthy Wednesday, which is an ETV show, and she's also an author. And our other guest is Miss Olga Yakovlev. And Olga is a love and relationships coach, and she is a speaker and the owner of the Rebel of Love. And we have our guest, Barney Kramer. Hi, Barney.
Hi, Marcia.
Barney, what's the name of your
Our
company?
token mail. Ooh, yeah.
Your leadership company, Barney?
Strategic Management.
Strategic Management. Barney is all about leadership, and leadership is part of relationships, and that's what we discuss here on the Speaker MC Show. It's all about relationships. So getting back to our show topic, we discussed and we dove in a little sooner than anticipated, but we were exploring the obvious, how people have a different connotation, a different definition of what wealth is, and our guests just laid it out so perfectly that your wealth is related to your well-being. Now, a lot of people need to know about their well-being. We, I think, know about our health. Currently, we are so full of information, and in this world of Google, we know all about red wines, dark chocolates, and yoga, and all these practices to keep us living much longer beyond 85 years. Now, what else can you say with the mind-body connection? We kind of delved into the mind-body connection. And I know that the body responds positively or negatively to thoughts and to feelings. A lot of people get their feelings, you know, they say don't get your panties in a bunch. A lot of people get their panties in a bunch, and they don't know how to respond to that. And a lot of them tend to, as I mentioned before, self-soothe, and they go to the doctor to assist them with the soothing, the medication, and the pharmaceuticals. I met a young lady, and she told me, I mean, it's something that we know, but she told me that the body reproduces cells to cure itself. Do you all believe that the body can cure itself, that we kind of don't really need those MDs? Your thoughts on that? Luci?
Well, I personally think that it's important that we look at traditional medical reasons on why somebody might be sick, because we do have a natural ability to cure our bodies in a lot of circumstances, but sometimes our bodies get so far off into the wrong health field that they would have to see a doctor. But I don't believe that running to the doctor for every little thing would be precedence. Does that make sense? I mean, you have to balance between knowing yourself and knowing what the right time is to see a doctor, compared to just running off to the doctor and saying, oh, I've got a sniffle, I must have this or I must have that, or using the Google for trying to find out every possible thing that could be wrong with you, and then going to the doctor and saying, I need a pill for this and this and this and this and this. And so it's important to really know yourself, and it's also important to verify that if you really are sicker than what your body can create a cure for, then getting a little help.
Well, I thank you for that, but I kind of believe that what that young lady said was absolutely correct. I think that doctors, because when you think about it, pharmaceuticals are derived from herbs that are grown, and then they just add like a little, maybe change the carbon. Oh, I flunked carbon chemistry, so pardon me. Maybe they just change the links in the carbon so that, it's now a pharmaceutical. And I just think, they give the prophylactic remedy. Hey, I have my prophylactic here. They give the prophylactic remedy as opposed to delving into the root cause. So if they just cover it up, you get a deep wound, and the doctor says, oh, let's slap a Band-Aid on that. Yeah, it's going to stop the bleeding temporarily, but at the end of the day, now the wound is starting to fester, and then it starts to grow a blister and all this kind of stuff. Had they just treated it a little bit deeper, what do you say about that, Barney? How do you think people can get to some of their deep-rooted issues as opposed to trying to seek some kind of topical remedy?
Well, I think for a huge number of people, they're never going to get to their deep-rooted issues until it becomes a crisis in their life somehow. Right. And when that happens, that's usually the motivator. But I don't think you have to do that. I think one of the great beauties of this world is you don't have to experience every problem and every issue and every challenge. But when you're unhappy in this life, what you need to start with is, what do I need to do differently? Why am I unhappy? And it's never about the money. It's never about the rest of the things. And I know William James said many, many, many years ago that the greatest discovery of his generation is that by changing the inner aspects of our minds, we can change the outer aspects of our lives. My wife was a registered nurse for many years and worked in intensive care and some of the tough parts in the hospital. And she said that over the years, she repeatedly watched people who shouldn't die, and she watched people who should die, live.
Wow.
And it started with an attitude. And if you look at some of the people in this world, the people that look at it from a pure success perspective, I don't know anybody that loves being around somebody that's constantly miserable, constantly finding everything in the world to complain about. Instead of shining that light on the positives in life and on the good things that they have, if you got one leg missing, thank goodness you don't have both legs missing. Now, I know that's a crummy thing to say. I just had an eye that got all tore up, and it is not going to come back the way it should. But I'm so grateful that I didn't lose the eye. And I didn't come into this world being Mr. Positive. But I do believe that that's a huge part of it. If you want to trigger the best, and now, of course, science is beginning to catch up with a lot of this and realize how powerful those endorphins and those positive chemicals that we have in our body are to, I read in a book called, I'm trying to think the name of it, but it's one of the business leaders who's done some study about how the chemicals cause so many positive things to happen when we look at what chemicals cause what things. And it really is about starting with that, having the right attitudes and the right perspectives on life, instead of woe is me, and it's amazing what you can do.
Yes.
So, that's a long-winded answer to your question, but that's my belief.
Attitude is everything. Attitude is absolutely everything. And even some MDs will agree that some patients are sick, but if they had that right mental attitude, that it just cures them that much sooner. Yes, I totally agree. So our health and our wealth. So if we had that mental attitude, do you think that we'd be doing better at business? Do you think that we'd be doing better in our relationships? Do you think that we'd be doing better with how we connect with ourselves and with others and serve others? Do you think that our mental attitude, now that we've come down to the root of this whole health and wealth thing and not settle for the prophylactic? I just love raising this. Do you think that that would actually have a reaction on just our environment and our relationship with everything, how we eat, how we deal with our money? Oh, yes, your dog agrees.
My dog is in it. Yeah, forgive me. Just give me 1 second.
So do you think that that would be a total reactive, see, now I lost my train of thought. Do you think that having that positive mental attitude would affect us positively in all facets of life? Luci?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I do agree with having a positive mental attitude will make you heal faster than having a negative one. And one of the books that, am I allowed to mention a book that saved my life?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. One of the books that saved my life way back in the 90s was You Can Heal Your Life with Louise Hay. And that book really helps you understand the mental connection between what condition you're having or what symptoms you're having to what mental condition you may be having. And that's a part of psychosomatics, which is psycho is of the mind and somatics is of the body. And understanding that certain mental conditions can actually manifest a belief system in your body where it creates some type of a symptom, or it can actually create a disease. And that can be reversible with the proper mental attitude and with proper treatments too.
See, I'm so not aligned with that treatment thing. I really think our bodies can cure itself. You know, the cells can reproduce and cure itself. What do you think, Olga?
Well, I think it all comes down to 2 simple things, which are not so simple, which would be fear or love. You know, when we go into all that could be, should be, negative attitude, it usually comes from fear. Something of not being enough, having enough, or not being taken care of. And that's a place of not only scarcity, but it's a place where not much happens other than you being scared. In the space of love, when we look at positive attitude and positive vibration, then we can take new action. There's access to getting curious about what you need and what your body is going through without judgment, without, all the expectations. You start to kind of almost like unravel your own like Pandora's, like, not box, but like everything's tied up in the ball of string. Like I was 26, I'm 35 now. When I went to dental work and I have my body shut down. And that to me started the healing crisis. I knew it wasn't about the dental work. It was about how I habitually related to myself and things happening around me and people around me, and not having appreciation and understanding of who I was, so I couldn't give it to others. And within that, for 6 years, there was symptomatic, constantly something happening. From migraine headaches to my kidneys being in pain to my back hurting, and me constantly connecting the dots. Not that I wasn't getting traditional Western treatment. I made sure when the symptoms were that bad for me to go check out what it was. But I was always looking at integrated aspect of healing and health. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? How am I relating to things? And how am I also communicating with people? Because to me, it's like, one of the most healing things that I know make a difference to me is feeling connected to me and other people. And when I was in pain, part of my negative mindset, negative attitude came from just not allowing myself to be myself with other people. So sometimes when people share how they feel, I don't necessarily feel like it's negative, but I do look, what are they doing with that? Is it just expressing how they feel to move forward? Or is that something to just express how they feel to stay stuck? I think that love and self-acceptance and really committing to yourself and surrounding yourself with people who have the same beliefs as you in regards to healing and curiosity and just unconditional love makes a difference for everybody.
I agree with the mind-body connection, and I agree that when you're in a happy place, that everything else is just happy. I've met people where it seems as if the woe is me, everything just seems to happen to them. Oh, this happened. Oh, that happened. Oh. It's like they drain your energy, with all of this negativity. And they don't seem to realize that they're attracting all this, whatever it is, to them. So I'm totally with the mind-body connection. But then, you talk about love. And yes, I agree that it attracts love. But you got to love self first before you can attract the right kind of love. And not many people, even when they attract love to them, they recognize it. Love could have smacked them right dead on the head, and they'd say, oh, well, I don't know. That wasn't love. He didn't love me, or she didn't love me. So that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show.
Well-being and love. Yes, we can play that game at the later date.
There you go.
But I agree. There's something to be really looked into a little deeper, if you want to say it that way.
Absolutely. Because I think the idea of being in love, you can be in love with, oh my God, it's such a gorgeous day. And just that being in love doesn't necessarily have to be attached to a person, or it could be attached to it could just be well-being. Oh, I feel so light today. Oh, I feel so good, whatever it is. And you just have that feeling of being in love emanate from your whole soul, So it just affects your attitude. That's just my 2 cents on people with attitudes and positivity and the mind-body.
You feel something. Yeah, you feel something that excites you. Yeah.
Yes.
Very true.
And you give out the good vibrations, and then you attract the good vibrations to you. Absolutely.
And you're able to receive what the universe and people have to contribute to you.
Now, can we talk about receiving? You have people that don't know how to receive. They don't know how to receive a compliment. They don't know how to receive assistance. They don't know how to receive. They don't know how to receive anything. Barney, you know some people like that, don't you? Because you teach leadership. And part of leadership is being able to know how to receive help. What do you think of that, Barney?
Oh, I agree with it. That with all leadership, at least as I teach, are really basically about people's skills. That's what leadership is about. I think it all wraps up into what your own personal values are, and there's so much that goes into it that when you're raised in the wrong kind of an environment, you have the wrong kind of influence in your life, you begin to create that tape, and that tape never completely goes away. I love the story about J. Paul Getty when he was considered to be the richest man in the world. And someone asked him how much was enough, and he says, I don't know, but it's just a little bit more than what I have now. And the message in that there was nothing that he could do with all his power. I mean, Carnegie was one of those people where he became a philanthropist when he realized what a disaster his own life had become. And it was about what he felt about himself. And I can tell you that a huge part of that is beginning to get right with, I happen to believe in a God, that if I'm right with God, a lot of good things will happen. And I always believed until I got into my mid-adult years that I wasn't worthy. That was the tape that was instilled in me. And and worthiness can't come from what Marcia thinks about me or somebody else thinks about me. It has to come from something greater than I am.
Absolutely.
And then you just have to intellectually be able to say, I don't care what those tapes were, I'm not going to allow that to take me. If you allow that to dominate your life, then you place yourself in your own jail.
Yes.
Created out of what Olga said, fear. Yes. I know I'm not worthy. I know I'm not good enough. According to whose standards?
Yes, absolutely. I love this. Luci, anything you would like to add? Because we're getting down to the wire now.
Yep, we are getting down to the wire, and I truly believe that in order for you to understand whether you're worthy or whether you're not worthy, is you have to approve of yourself first and foremost. And if you approve of yourself, then it doesn't matter if somebody else doesn't, and it doesn't matter what other people say about you, because it's not about you. When somebody has an issue with you, it's their issue, not your issue.
Exactly.
And a lot of that is about well-being, is when we can look at how other people perceive themselves. And like you were talking about the negative derived people, those negative people probably won't like you if you're happy.
Mm.
And the happier you are, the more they think there's something wrong with you. Or at least that's what I grew up in, is if you were happy and humming along and in the grocery store and you're just doing your thing, and people would start looking at you and they're like, you'd hear them whispering, it's like, what kind of drugs is she on? And it's kind of scary, but that's the society that I grew up in. Was you weren't allowed to be happy. You weren't allowed to express it in public. So really being able to be happy and moving forward and choosing to approve of yourself is really important for well-being and for wealth and health.
Love it, love it. So I think in summary, based on what everyone has said thus far, that our health and our wealth, actually the ultimate root has to do with self, the self-confidence that we have to not be led by fear, the self-confidence that we have to embrace ourselves and love ourselves and be in love with ourselves, not in a bad way, but in a way that it creates that good, positive mental attitude, that good, positive vibe, so that we stop attracting negativity to us. Would you all agree?
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Yay, thank you. Woo! This has been a really good show. I thank you guys. And at this point, we have something for our guests to share with our audience. Our guests decided to offer something free. And Luci, if you just take a couple minutes and just tell us a little bit about who you are, your company, and what free gift you have to offer to our participants today, and how we can reach you, how we can connect with you.
Absolutely. My name's Luci McMonagle. I'm an abundance breakthrough coach, an author, and the host of the Wealthy Wednesday show. I transformed my poverty-stricken life that I grew up in into one of abundance, wealth, and happiness. And individuals hire me because they want to achieve their ultimate wealth, because most are unaware of their hidden beliefs that they're holding inside of them that's ruining their lives and creating a money story that's not beneficial for them. So what I do is I help you with your mindset, I help you with your money story, and I help you get the boogeyman out of your money closet, because that's really important. And one of my free gifts is the 10 Keys to Unlocking a Six-Figure Income. It's an e-course series, because I know you're really busy these days. So you get one tip per day for 10 days. It's a quick and easy. You can go through it in a minute or two, and then you can start incorporating it in your life. And you can get to the 10 Keys to Unlocking Six Figures at my website, and it's under Luci, Luci, McMonagle, that's McMonag as in great, LE.com /J as in junior, V as in venture. So that's LuciMcMonagle.com /JV.
Oh, fabulous. LuciMcMonagle.com /JV. Oh, fabulous, Luci. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And our next guest, Olga. Olga, would you like to share with our audience a little bit about Olga, your company, and how they can reach you and your free offering? Olga? Olga? Oh.
Sure. So I am Olga Yakovlev. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Now
can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. He had me thrown off. So I am Olga Yakovlev, Rebel of Love Coach.
Is something wrong with your...
Sorry, Marcy.
Over there?
I keep on getting kicked out of Zoom, so I apologize. I don't know why I keep on putting me
I
in
don't
and
know why.
taking me out.
Okay.
So if you can't hear me, it just my Zoom keeps on kicking out. So let me try to do this again. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you see us?
Marcia, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hello. I don't know why her thing keeps getting kicked out. Well, Barney, would you like to fill in the gap until Olga gets her phone back?
Sure.
A little bit about Barney and your leadership
Yeah.
strategies.
Yeah, well, the thing I enjoy the most is the leadership strategies, and it's about communications and learning to work with other people and learning that our real purpose in life is serving each other. And the reason I enjoy it is because it's about people. There's nothing more powerful, nothing more wonderful. And when we begin to learn how to understand others, then we start learning how to understand ourselves. And Popeye had a beautiful philosophy in life, and he said, "I am what I am, and that's all that I am." He was right with himself, and that made him pretty much, as Luci said, right with the universe. I won't put a pitch in unless you ask me to about what I do, but I do love working with people. And like Luci said, I've just recently taken a lot of my courses online so that you get to do it at your time, your convenience, and your way, and yet still be able to do what often gets lost when you do that. I still give people the opportunity to apply what they're learning. If you don't apply what you've been taught, you haven't learned it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you for that. Well, Olga.
I think you've lost her.
Yeah, I think she is totally gone out of Zoom. Well, my name is Marcia Chambers, and I'm currently working on a project, and my project has to do with sexual wellness. Yes, sexual wellness and empowered lifestyle living for women. So that's my new project, and I'm also taking that digitally. So I'm right now totally invested in that, and digitizing that project. So that will be coming soon to a URL near you. So look out for it. Look out for it. Olga, are you back? Olga, I see your picture, but I don't hear you. Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. Well, any last comments that anyone wants to share? Our guests. We have some guests on the line. Does anyone want to share anything about our topic today? I guess not. Hello? Would you like to share? 267, would you like to share? Okay, I'll put you back on mute. No worries. Olga, we'll give Olga a couple more minutes to see if Olga can reconnect with us. But did you guys enjoy the show?
Yes.
It was fun. Thank you.
Yes. Barney, we have to do a show together.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
It sure has. It sure has. Where is my... I don't know where she is. We're trying to keep this open for her. And it's 7 more minutes on the books. So we can chit chat. I can pause the recording. So Olga, is there anything that is coming up for you? Can you just share a little bit about who Olga is, the Rebel of Love?
Sure.
Your free offering for our guests?
Yeah. So who I am as a coach, I really love supporting women. I am committed to women having amazing, passionate, juicy relationships. Woo! So if that looks like you're out there looking for a perfect man, I can support you in that. Woo! Or if you're in a relationship and there's certain things that you just really want to spice up, I am the girl for that as well. Woo! But really what I'm committed to doing, and I know what makes a difference for everybody, is connecting to yourself and nurturing and really finding who you are and giving yourself permission to just be that. To love yourself, to cherish yourself, and to value yourself. Doesn't matter if you're single or you're waiting to do all those things. If you're in a relationship, don't wait. It's really your commitment to you and the quality of life and the quality of joy and happiness that you have in your life. And the juiciness, you know, that could be sexy juiciness, that could be play, that could be laughter. That could be just you looking in the mirror and saying, I love myself and I feel good about me. So that is my life mission. That's really what I specialize in, what I connect to. And what makes me different, I like play. I like silliness. I like fun. I like lightheartedness. Because I know that me having to do a lot of my own personal work around self-worth and self-love and healing, and the same thing for my clients, sometimes it gets heavy. Sometimes even self-love gets heavy. And when we bring in that fun and play, and kind of nurture that bits of our inner child, if we, you know, for those of us who know the inner child, it makes such a difference. It attracts different and quality people into your life, and it just allows you to connect on a whole other level, intimately or just relationally. So,
how can we find you? How can we connect with you?
Okay, so you can find me at rebeloflove.com, and you can also email me at rebeloflovecoach@gmail.com. And there's also my number. I give out my number. I'm that kind of a girl.
Wow.
So my number is 917-855-2995. And really, I want to make it easy for people to create a daily self-love practice. So what I am giving away, you text me to my number, 917-855-2995. Your email and your name, and you get back is a daily self-care ritual for the morning and evening practice. We make it simple. It could be from 15 minutes to about half an hour a day. But really, it's a time that you take for you. You are the VIP. You are the girl or the gentleman who wants to really connect to you and create miracles in your life. I support you in that. And the daily practice will make room in your life for that. So that's why we put it in first.
Oh, fabulous.
Yes.
Well, I thank you. Thank you
so much, everybody.
Luci. Thank you, Olga.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barney. Thank you so much for making this a wonderful experience today on the SpeakerMC Show. Ladies and gentlemen, join us for our next show, which will be September 12th, Monday, September 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We will be talking about, why am I so broke? The SpeakerMC Show is all about relationships. So join us next time. And thank you guys. Much love.
Thank you, Marcia, Barney, and Luci. It's been amazing.